What's going on, everybody? Hope everybody's doing good. Just wanted to share this with the channel here. This a sauce that I made last night. It's a Peruvian inspired sauce, so it's very similar to um, a Peruvian ají Amarillo paste. And that was the inspiration that I was going for. So she is really thick. I tried thinning it out a little bit more because although I wanted it kind of pasty, because that was the inspiration, like I said, but I wanted it a little bit thinner, and it just didn't quite come out as thin as I wanted it. So it's probably going to be hard to get out of this bottle. It was hard to get it in there, let's be honest about it. But I created this sauce just for myself. I think the recipe ingredients that I'm going to share with you here now created about three woozies, 3 5-ounce woozy bottles. Again, you can see the little bits and pieces in there. I don't know if you can see the red flakes, a little bit there. But what we got is, I think I used, again, it was just off the cuff, and I just kept adding stuff to get the flavor profile to where I wanted it. So basically it was either 6 or 8 ají Amarillo chilies, which are, a medium fruity chili, if you're not familiar with it, a Peruvian delicacy, in my opinion. They're absolutely delicious. They're an orange chili. And then I added 3 orange habaneros to kick up the heat a little bit. A little bit of olive oil at 2 different points, again, to thin it out. An entire fresh lime, just squeezed in the blender as I was going. Dried Mexican oregano, just a little pinch. Edible rose petals I used as well. A little bit of white onion, not a whole lot. I just used, you take your bulb onion. I took 1 slice off of it, put that in there. What else did I add in there? Salt and pepper to taste. And I think that was it. Am I forgetting something? No. So I kept tasting it. It wasn't quite getting the flavor that I wanted. I didn't want it to be super sweet, but I wanted a little bit of sweetness to be there. Oh, I forgot. And fresh mango. I added in fresh mango. Couldn't even tell you how much. I bought the mango at the store. It was already pre-cut into like halves, if you will. Like if you were to take a slice, halves of those. So again, I don't know how many mangoes, but mango. And then at the very end, I took a Roma tomato, and I just did a half of a nice size, big, plump Roma tomato. And I'm glad I did. It changed the entire flavor profile of the sauce and gave it so much more depth and savoriness, if you will. Before, it was smelling and tasting too pepper forward. And again, not in a way that I really was happy with. It tasted okay, but the smell was a little off. And so I added that Roma tomato, and boy, let me tell you, it just completely changed everything about it. So that's what went into it. I love the color. It's not quite a mustard. It looks like it. It's a little bit brighter than what it looks like here on screen, I'm sure. Not quite as bright as this hoodie is, but it has a nice brightness to it. It has kind of a savory, burnt aroma to it. But it has a nice freshness. You can smell the onion in it quite a bit. Oh, I used about a half a bulb of garlic, fresh garlic as well. Just chunks of garlic, threw that in the blender. And again, I used all those ingredients, but I just kept putting more in as I was tasting it and blending it and going with it to get it spicy enough and kind of where I wanted. So now, as you can see, it's pretty thick. But again, the inspiration was coming from a paste. Once it comes out, it's not too bad. Do this. See, now it's coming a lot better. You just got to have kind of like a harder surface to get it out. I could have kept adding some extra virgin olive oil, but I don't really like to add that in sauce too much. I didn't add any water. I probably could have added some water to thin it a little. But again, I didn't want to do all of that. And it had enough acidity and it had enough of that lime flavor. I created this for a fish sandwich that I made. That's good. And I found the ají Amarillo chilies at a new market. They were frozen. So I think that changed the flavor profile of the chili itself, and it gave it more of that earthy, burnt kind of smell and taste when it came to the sauce. But you can see it's moving on the spoon. So, you know, when it's outside of the bottle, so you can see it moving there, you know, it's not as thick. It's just when you have a thicker, chunkier type sauce, you know, and trying to get it out of a 5-ounce woozy like that is what really makes it hard. But as you can see, it holds really well. It was perfect on the fish sandwich I had last night. So let's go ahead and give it a shot. It smells really fresh, and that's what it's one thing I was going for. I wanted it to have a bright, airy note to it. I think the fresh lime juice really helps with that. And the edible rose petals were tossed in last minute for color. I wanted it to have a little bit of color because they're dried. But I use them in my cooking, usually as a garnish, right? But I threw it in a sauce for the first time I've ever done that. And I don't know how much it changed the overall profile of the flavor. I don't think it really did much. But it created just more, you know, bits and pieces and different coloration to the sauce. So next time on this, I would add more of it. It's got a little bit of fruity, sour note up front. The Mexican oregano really, really shines on the back end of it. The heat on this, it's pretty warm. For just ají amarillos and orange habaneros, she's hot. But again, the garlic's helping with that. It's a different type of warmth. It's a different type of spice, but the garlic's helping with that. The fresh white onion is helping with that. And believe it or not, that Mexican oregano also has a bit of a little spice to it. It's really nice. I'm happy with the way this came out. It's delicious. I'll be able to use it. It complemented the fish perfectly because it has, and that's why I was thinking about using lemon juice on the sauce instead of lime. But I didn't want it to be too sour. And because when I was cooking the fish, I baked it. I put scorpion sea salt on it, black pepper, and then at 2 or 3 different times in the bake process, well, 2 during the process. I just squeezed fresh lemon over the fish itself, the fish fillet. And let me tell you, turn a cheap fish. I used to use tilapia, very cheap. I think I got the fillet, I don't even know the weight on it, for like $2.50, something like that. So pretty good. So again, very hard to get it out of this bottle, but I needed to store it in something as opposed to just putting it in a bowl or something like that. It really comes out nice though this way. Sorry guys. But I just wanted to share this sauce I made. It's really good. It's easy. And when I found a bag, again, I don't know how many ounces or, you know, but I used like 8 ahi Amarillos. There we go. She's pouring good now. In this concoction sauce I made here. And again, there you can see the, you know, the bits and pieces in there. As I'm talking, and this is just still kind of on my palate, the garlic is real heavy in this. I like garlic. I think it complements sauces, and the inspiration behind this sauce was to use it solely on this this fish sandwich I made last night for dinner. And it did exactly that, and it needed the garlic. But I can use this sauce on hot dogs, bratwurst, things of that nature. I think it would be good just mixing in with some white rice as well. Yeah, let's try a little more. Yeah, that oregano is nice. I'm glad I added that at the end. The tomato just helped with the overall body of the sauce. It did. When I added that tomato, that was right at the very end. It needed something. I didn't know what it needed. Man, she's warm now. That's a good heat for me. That's, you know, can feel it on the roof of the mouth, underneath the tongue, the tip of the tongue. But the roof of the mouth really getting it. Again, for just ahi Amarillos and 3 habaneros. Now I made a small batch, so maybe I don't even think that's a lot of chilies, to be honest. But ahi Amarillos, I'm not sure the Scoville on those, 100,000 maybe. I could be wrong on that, so don't quote me. I don't remember. But anyways, just wanted to share that. I appreciate everybody being here with me, burning with me. And I'm very happy with the way the color came out. Again, inspiration, it was a fish that I was cooking. So I wanted a bright sauce to complement the white flaky fish on the sandwich. That makes sense, right? So I didn't want to make a red sauce. Originally, I was going to do the fish sandwich last night. I was just kind of craving a fish sandwich. I was going to just use mayo, or I was going to make like a lemon tartar dill type sauce that I've made before. And then I remembered seeing that bag of the Peruvian ahi Amarillo chilies at the Mexican grocer that just opened up, El Super. I've talked about El Super in a few other videos. I remembered that, so I drove all the way over there just to get that bag. And they defrosted very quick, so that helped. But then I got that inspiration from that, and I'm glad we went this route. So again, a homemade Peruvian staple, really. Ahi Amarillo, we'll call it a paste, but I'm going to call it a sauce. Thanks for being here.